Hey friends! In this video, we'll learn to see the shapes in the shadows. This tool will be very useful for rendering your illustrations realistically. The whole idea is to find the shapes in the differences in value. So you can measure the angles and find the complex shapes that make the shadows, midtones, and highlights. This will make it easier to tackle the shadows and highlights because you'll think of them as shapes. But how can you do this? Let's revisit this still life. You got to this point in the last video. Now that you know where the parts go in your drawing, you can start to think about how you will render it. Remember that rendering is adding values, details, and textures to your drawing. But before you add the shadows, the highlights, and all of that jazz, you can use the tools you have learned so far to create a structure for the differences in value. So instead of starting immediately without a plan to add shadows, you want to find the shapes that these shadows have. You can use your pencil to measure the angles and go back and forward from the reference to your drawing and start to add these shadows. This will become the structure of your shadows. So don't be worried about filling them perfectly or anything. You just want to find them for now and build that foundation. I can feel that there's something not quite right with my drawing. So this is a perfect time to slow down and spend some time comparing your drawing to your reference. And here you'll see why it's important to measure and find the right angles. I started drawing this part without measuring anything, and when I went back to check the angles, I can see that they're completely off. But that's not a problem, I can just fix that. You can continue building your sketch by finding the shapes in the shadows. You can also double-check these shapes by looking at the space they create, just like you did in the previous video with the negative space. Once you have the shadows in place, you can start to darken these shapes. Just like in the first level, where we talked about values. Try to see which parts are darker and which parts are lighter. Changes in value can be very subtle, but if you spend enough time practicing this tool, you'll be able to see them and draw them faster. And this will help you draw more and more realistically. There are many ways to learn how to render, and many different tools you can use. For me, the one that worked best to start was pencil and charcoal, because you have to focus on the differences in value without worrying about color or anything. This is the easiest way to improve your drawing skills and eventually become a pro at color. I'll be using my Feels Like Pencil for Procreate brushes to start the rendering process. But you can use your favorite set of pencil brushes. With a soft brush, you can start to add values very softly. At this moment, you're still not thinking about the finished drawing. It's important that you keep on building your structure and refining it to get to your finished piece. So continue to fill the shadows, paying close attention to the changes in values. In this step, you're trying to see the areas where the values might be a bit lighter or where they might be a bit darker. This will help you when you're done with your sketch and want to move on to a more finished drawing. Continue to build the shadows of your sketch until you're happy with how it's looking. Once you're done with the sketch, you can make a new layer on top of it and start working on the more finished illustration. But for now, just keep thinking about building the sketch. Having the right foundation for your drawing with all the elements in place so that you can build a strong illustration on top of that foundation. With that in mind, it's your turn. Go to the worksheets of this video. Your assignment is to find the shapes in the shadows on the reference images to the left. And once you have that, use all the tools you've learned so far to draw the reference on the blank space to the right. And and at the shapes in the shadows. You can keep it sketchy and loose, or you can spend as much time as you want on each drawing. The goal of this exercise is to help you build a strong sketch. It doesn't have to be a completely finished drawing. Notice how I'm filling the shadows with very loose and sketchy lines. You want to train your eye to find the shapes in the differences in value. Where are they darker or where are they lighter? Take your time to see and measure, but try not to get too caught up in the details. And once you're done with this assignment, you can revisit your class drawing and find the shapes in the shadows to refine your sketch even more. Make sure to share what you do for this assignment with the rest of the class in the Design Cuts Community Hub or in social media. I would love to know how this tool helps you refine your drawings. We'll see each other on the next video. See ya!